Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And my name is Parkwisi Asari. Coming up in the next 60 minutes.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Speaker of Parliament comments on Jechi Kweson's case as the Member of Parliament-elect appeal over daily trial ruling adjourned to July 4.
Independent Power Producers directs its members to suspend power supply to National Grid from July 1 over outstanding debt owed by governments.
Also tonight, petroleum tanker drivers give government 3 weeks to fix 7-kilometer Tema Industrial Area road after calling off strike.
Later in business tonight, banking consultant says the Bank of Ghana's sanctions against Fidelity and First National Bank will adversely affect their forex trading activities.
On the international front, U.S. Supreme Court overturns race-based college admissions.
We've got details of all these stories plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Feel free to visit any of our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter.
The news now in detail, and the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has expressed concern over Ghana's freedom of speech retrogression, calling on government to improve from its current 62nd ranking. He made this observation when he called on management of Media General in Accra.
We just elected a fresh MP, and I have to go and swear him in to start his work, in spite of the fact that
and as part of activities, the legislature, led by the Speaker, is visiting media houses for better collaboration and partnership.
These 3 decades, we must take it and run with, and at least not just mark the milestone, but celebrate it together as a country and use that opportunity to reach out to all Ghanaians to understand what we are doing. It's very important because that social capital in development is missing. And part of the celebration is for us to reach out to our critical partners like the media. And then together, we learn together, we exchange ideas together, and we work together to make sure that the advocacy, the education, the information flow is there for everybody to get to understand where we came from.
The Speaker expressed discontent with media's declining freedom of speech.
Leadership will have to sit up because we were moving up there. All of a sudden, there's retrogression. And you recall around 2015, we scored as much as 22nd position. Now, we are at the 62nd position. It's not the best. People who claim to be a model democracy in Africa, because of our past glory, resting on our OS and thinking that we're doing well. A lot of countries in Africa have overtaken us. So what do we do to prevent that? Parliament, as an institution, as an arm of government, is the protector of the rights and freedoms of all the people. And so we need to stand up. And you need to know that when these things are happening, you have to fall on us. Either through your members of parliament or through the institution itself. And then we take it up.
He said Parliament's doors are open to all, and the legislature will open a parliamentary museum to celebrate Ghana's independence story.
We bring in new rules. We call them orders, standing orders in the House. We revised the standing orders. We're creating new committees or additional committees. And we are also opening up those committee meetings to all media. That will help to nourish the discourse in the House to improve upon the value of our laws, of our oversight, and of everything. So,
Group Chief Executive Officer of Media General, Beatrice Ajman, assured the Speaker of Media General's support.
We want to be part of the work we are doing in Parliament. I know that this is the beginning of a good relationship. We love the fact that you want to archive all your material in a museum. We are here, we have a very big library. We will support you with any material you need. But most importantly, the kind of support that you are willing to give to media personnel in the kind of work we do is very much needed. I believe that the media in this country now is most of the time gagged. But for us at Media General, we will continue to do our work without fear or favor. We will continue to stay balanced, very objective and fair in everything we put out there.
And still on the Speaker's visit, Albert Bawin said selective justice is an affront to peace. He is unhappy that the MP-elect for the Asin North constituency, James Gyakye Quayson, is still being pursued to be prosecuted.
James Gyakye Quayson won the 2020 parliamentary election in the Asin North constituency to represent the people there. But in November 2020, a group called the Concerned Citizens of Asin North petitioned the Electoral Commission in the Central Region to revoke his candidacy, arguing that he owed allegiance to Canada. The Supreme Court later ruled that Gyakye Quayson should stop holding himself as an MP and subsequently directed Parliament to expunge his name from its records, declaring his election as null and void. In the heat of the campaign in Asin North for the by-election, President Akufo-Addo asked the people if they wanted to elect a member who could be jailed. This did not sit well with many, particularly the NDC. A law professor and a fellow at the Center for Democratic Governance, Professor Kweku Asare, has this to say.
That notion that at the time of filing your nomination, you should be a single citizen is wrong as a matter of law. I mean, anybody at all can go and read the PNDC law, and when you read the PNDC law, it is crystal clear that Gyakye Quayson qualified to run for MP. And in fact, the Electoral Commission itself is the one that wrote those regulations. They said he qualified.
The Speaker of Parliament, at a courtesy call on the management of Media General, said it is sad that Gyakye Quayson is still being pursued to be prosecuted when others with similar offence are left off the hook.
We just elected a fresh MP, and I have to go and swear him in to start his work. In spite of the fact that the same thing that complain about is still happening. They are chasing after him and trying to prosecute him, even though we know that even in that respect that they are talking about, there are many more of us who have the same thing, but they are not being prosecuted. That is the country we are in, and we need to bring this out. Once you have selective justice, you never have peace. Once you have justice, there will definitely be peace, where everybody matters. And therefore, you work together. Why do you say, I don't matter? Then you too, you don't matter. And then that's a conflict situation. And so we need to look at this together. And I believe that after we sworn in the member, we still get our hung parliament 137.
He says the hung parliament is the doing of God to change a lot of things in the country.
Nobody decided on that apart from the Almighty God. And the only independent member comes from the party in government and says he's independent. And the speaker, who is impartial, comes from the party who is in opposition. Who has decided this? Is it any of us? It's God. And there's good reason why God decided it. That this is the opportune time for us to change things. Things that the earlier parliaments were struggling to do because of mob action, majoritarian system. where you have many MPs from one party, and behind, pushing whoever is their speaker, and the presidents adding their weight to it, the speakers definitely are human. They could not stand up to the pressure.
And in court, James Gyakye-Quayson's application to stay proceedings of his criminal trial was adjourned to July 4. Presiding Judge Mary Yanzu told lawyers for the Member of Parliament-elect to properly serve the documents. Lord Edo-Asare reports.
So, lawyers for the Member of Parliament-elect for Assin North, James Gyakye-Quayson, have filed 2 lawsuits, one at the Court of Appeal and another at the Accra High Court. Now, at the Court of Appeal, lawyers for the MP-elect are saying that they want the Apex Court to overturn a ruling by the High Court, which they sought to halt the daily hearing of the trial of James Gyakye-Quayson. Now, you'd recall that on June 23, the Accra High Court, Criminal Court 3 to be specific, presided over by Justice Mary Ikue Yanzu, ruled for the dismissal of the motion to vary the daily hearings for the trial of James Gyakye-Quayson. Now, at the Court of Appeal, they cite that although the court exercised its discretionary powers, there were lots of errors that led to the ruling. They cite that on June 16, the supplementary affidavit which the lawyer for James Gyakye-Quayson, Chachi Chikata, filed contained prejudicial comments by the Attorney General, which was admitted into evidence by the court on 16th. Now, in the ruling on 23rd, they cite that the presiding judge dismissed this evidence which the court had earlier admitted as far as the affidavit were concerned, and ruled for the dismissal of the daily hearing, the halting of the daily hearing. Now, in the Accra High Court, they have filed a motion to stay proceedings until the outcome of the Court of Appeal case has been heard. When the case was called today at the Accra High Court, Presiding Judge Mary Yanzu noted that although she has seen records of the lawsuits, the court had not officially been served with a motion to stay proceedings as well as the Court of Appeal suit. She asked the Deputy Attorney General, who also responded in the negative, that he had not seen the stay of proceedings motion filed by lawyers for James Gyakye-Quayson. Speaking to the media after the adjournment, NDC Communications Officer Sami Jemfi noted that they want to make sure James Gyakye-Quayson's rights are not violated.
The accused and his lawyers that he will get a fair trial. Yes, justice delayed is justice denied, but justice harried is also justice buried. There are serious issues about the testimony of the first witness that the accused has called, that lawyers for the accused will require ample time to cross-examine. And it is totally unacceptable, in our opinion, for her ladyship to say that the cross-examination should be done on a daily basis and should be restricted to certain, limited time periods. We don't think that affords the accused, the re-elected Member of Parliament for Assin North, a fair hearing.
A reminder is to watch News 360. This is our major news bulletin for the day. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. Now, it's a day to the expiration of deadline given by the independent power producers to cut supply to the national grid over outstanding arrears owed by government. The two parties were expected to meet on a proposal by the power producers demanding 30% payment of the arrears.
Following the stalemate in negotiations, the Chamber has directed its members to cut supply to the national grid from July 1 and not to declare the available power capacity to the system operator till July 8. Members include Sonon Asogli, Sempa, Car Powership, AXA, Twin City Energy and Sinite. According to the Chamber, debt have hindered their access to working capital, preventing them from financing crucial inputs such as chemicals for water treatment and thermal generators and other supplies. Independent power producers play a significant role in Ghana's energy sector, controlling 47% of the country's total power generating mix and contributing 67% of Ghana's thermal power. The 6 companies collectively claim an outstanding debt of approximately $2 billion.
Let's go straight to the phone lines now. Benjamin Boakye is Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP. Ben, is this just a threat, or we should be worried?
No, I think, at this point, we don't know whether it's just a threat or is an action that they really intend to carry out. I've heard some communications have been, wired to the various IPPs through the chamber for that action to actually be taken. I hope it doesn't happen. But even if it doesn't happen, the expectation, that there could be load shedding even 2 days to, the threat in itself is quite distracting for a power consumer who ordinarily should have no role in, this kind of tussle. Because once you pay your electricity bill, all you expect is for the power to be provided to you. All right. So that is the sad reality. But as to whether the IPPs will be able to carry out their threats, we can only live to see. I haven't seen any communication to the contrary that, their demands have been met.
Listen, these power producers are against a restructuring of their debt. In fact, what they're asking for is at least a 30% payment, outright payment. Are we saying government cannot even meet that request?
I mean, immediately, I don't see how government is going to meet that request. I mean, 30% of, I think what they are requesting is 30% on their debt as of March, which was around 1.3, 1.4 billion. So that alone, 30% is close to $400 million. If the 30% is on the debt as of today, I mean, we're close to 2 billion, about 1.8, 1.9 billion dollars. That will be heavy for government to raise at this point in time. I think what there has to be is a conversation that arrives at a plan to systematically defray the outstanding balance whilst finding a workable solution to the recurrent, accumulation of the debt. That is the only solution that I think, we can push for at this point. For the IPPs, I don't know what the strategy looks like. If government is not paying, whether they would want to shut the plant for a long haul, and to what end. I think, we have to have a reasonable conversation between government and the IPPs for that to happen. And if they don't even shut the plants, how would government receive it? Would it be an empty threat that could worsen the power sector situation and predictability going forward? I mean, there is some room for sensible conversation to be had around these things so that the consumer, who needs the power for business, for homes, will be able to be at peace and not have to think. And that's been my concern all the time, that consumers do not have to worry about the things that, the system managers make us worry about all the time. All we care is power on the grid, and we pay for the power that is provided to us.
Ben, thank you very much for joining us here on News 360. Benjamin Boakye is the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy.
In more news tonight, petroleum tanker drivers have called off their strike following a crunch meeting with the Ministers of Roads and Highways and Transport. The drivers were assured of an improvement in the 7-kilometer Tema heavy industrial area within 3 weeks and a 7-member committee to monitor progress of work. George Queenan reports.
The Roads and Highways Minister, together with the Transport Minister, were taken on a tour of the 7-kilometer stretch, which has been a major hindrance to the smooth transportation of petroleum products within the Tema heavy industrial area. The Roads and Highways Minister explained that contractor has been on site but admitted the slow pace of work. For instance, this pool caused by the rains had been filled. The union called for further deliberations, which took both ministers and the drivers into a 3-hour crunch meeting. A joint communique was issued after the meeting.
The union has decided to suspend strike by midnight today, 29 June 2023, based on the following conditions. Though works are currently ongoing on Tor Road, and the contractor will increase his equipment holding on the road and ensure that riding quality is improved within 3 weeks.
The union wants access roads at the 3 other depots in Kumasi, Takoradi and Buipe improved.
Works on this access road will be commenced by tomorrow, 30th June 2023. A 7-member committee formed 3 from the ministries, 4 from the unions, has set up to monitor the progress of works in Tema, Kumasi, and Bupe.
The roads minister agreed to their proposal.
Let's do some politics now. And the national organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party, Henry Nana Boakye, has issued a public apology to the former Minister of Trade and Industry and flag-bearer aspirant of the party, Alan Kyerematen. The apology comes on the back of an incident during the party's final rally in Asin North. A viral video showed the vice president's arrival and introduction during the campaign rally while Alan Kyerematen was addressing the gathering. He attributed the mishap to a lack of communication between the handlers of the vice president and the campaign organizers, while explaining further that it was not intentional to publicly embarrass the former minister. All right, so let's watch the video and see exactly what transpired in Asin North on that fateful day.
Number one.
Meanwhile, a member of the Alan Kyerematen campaign has expressed outrage at what happened and described the actions of organizers as deliberate and well orchestrated to embarrass the former trade minister. While speaking in an interview with TV3, Edwin Bokman said Anabi's apology lacks honesty.
And was apart from being unfortunate, it is something that should be condemned by every 1 million NPP member. If you were there and you saw what happened, you would be sad as a party member for getting to be done to no less a person than Honorable Alan Kyerematen. I mean, you can't tell me that there wasn't communication before the vice president got to the rally grounds. Some of these things, they don't just happen. When vice president is moving, one thing that is normally done is communication between the vice convoy and their destination. That is normally done to make sure that such things don't happen. But if you ask my kind of opinion, I will tell you that what I saw, everything was planned. Everything was planned. Because where the vice president used to get to the stage was very unusual for the whole vice president to use the frontage of a stage to get to the top of it. I mean, this is not something that is done anywhere. When the president came, he used the right, entry point. The vice president could have done the same, but the thing was that it was planned in such a way that he would come at the time that Alan was speaking and at a background song. You see, it is not what is done alone, what was done. Even the song that was being played, he could see clearly that everything had been orchestrated just to more or less humiliate or more or less to show that somebody is more more popular or more powerful than the other. For me, it is highly condemnable. I listened to him. I listened to an interview he granted, and he described the whole incident as a small hitch. A small hitch? What happened? You describe it as a small hitch. If it's a small hitch, then why are you apologizing? If it is indeed a small hitch, then there's no need for apologies. But you see, that is, you see, they thought it was going to maybe gain them some currency, political currency. In the end, the backlash, I mean, people are really complaining about it. And if they thought it was going to give them, as I said, some currency, it has rather given them some negative.
In more news tonight, legal practitioner James Afedo has sued the Attorney General, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, and the Speaker of Parliament over taxes on sanitary pads in the country. Among others, he's seeking an interpretation from the court that the 20% tax on sanitary materials is unconstitutional. Joining us is James Afedo, a legal practitioner. James, thank you so much for your time. First of all, what is motivating you to pursue this cause against what you term sexually discriminatory taxes on menstrual hygiene-related products?
Thank you very much, Portia. As a citizen of Ghana, and like any other citizen, we are all allowed, if we see that there is an act of government or any agency of government or anybody that is in violation of the Constitution, to go to the Supreme Court to seek an interpretation of the Constitution, and also ask the Supreme Court to enforce the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. Now, the taxes that we are targeting as being unconstitutional are taxes that have been imposed by governments over the years, and for several years now, there have been an intense campaign by a number of women's rights NGOs asking government and parliament to take steps to remove these taxes on menstrual hygiene products. But despite all the efforts, lip service has been paid to the calls. And so we thought that the time is right at this time to actually ask the court to give a decision as to the legality of those taxes, because we think that those taxes are discriminatory. They are targeted towards women who constitute the majority of the population, and we think that is not fair that those taxes should be collected by government. That is why we are bringing this action.
What reliefs are you seeking?
So a number of reliefs. Key among them is for the court to declare that the 20% excise duty on these products, as well as the VAT on the products, are not constitutional, or in other words, they are discriminatory. Then also they are violating the rights of women to get access to education, because statistics has shown that a number of girls miss school days equivalent to about 6 weeks every term as a result of not being able to go to school because they don't have access to menstrual hygiene products that would enable them to manage their menstruation. We are also saying that these taxes are denying women their right to health, because the reality is that for the large majority of the population who don't have access to these products because of the cost, are forced to use toilet rolls, dirty rags. Some also use plantain leaves and all manner of things that causes infection and exposes them to dangers of health. And that, again, is not helpful when it comes to legality of those taxes. So that is the key relief we are seeking. But apart from that, these taxes have been collected by the Ghana Revenue Authority for several years. And we believe that if the court agrees with us that the taxes are not legal, then the monies that have been collected from importers of these products, as well as you and I who buy these products for my wife and my daughter, have a right to a refund of the monies we have paid. So those are the key reliefs we are seeking from.
James, thank you so much for your time. And James Apedo is a legal practitioner.
The Osajifo Power Badge at Afasu in the Jomoro constituency of the Western region has been 90% dismantled without authorization. Deputy Minister of Energy William Oreku Edu, answering questions from the Jomoro NP in Parliament, says a private company which is in negotiations with the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation to decommission the badge on a proposed 60-40% undertook that dismantling.
In a report dated 10th of June 2019, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, under its Integrated Resource and Resilience Planning Project, provided an analysis of the status of Osajifo Power Badge. After performing a technical audit on the badge, USAID in its report recommended that it was not commercially viable to return the badge to service, as the cost of refurbishment would likely far exceed the cost of purchasing a new badge. Upon receipt of these letters, GNPC visited the badge site. Immediate communities and key government agencies, including the municipal chief executive and the police, on 7th April 2022 to ascertain the condition of the badge. From the interaction with the community, chiefs, MCE, and police, it was discovered that MISHAC had already commenced the removal of some parts of the badge and other metals without proper recourse to GNPC. On the 9th of February 2023, the Board of Survey team visited the badge site and provided a status update in a report dated 28th March 2023. The team observed that about 90% of the OPD of the badge was dismantled. Through interactions with the local community, it is believed that MISHAC Limited carried out the dismantling of the badge without engaging GNPC to formalize an arrangement or an agreement as directed by the Minister of Energy.
We have business news coming up shortly. Don't go away.
Gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, No susu, no deposit, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
By MTN, Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Good evening and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. Now, banking consultant Nanotwe Champon has warned commercial banks to take a cue from the current predicament facing Fidelity and First National Bank following a suspension of their forex trading license. The Bank of Ghana has taken action against the two banks for breaching sections of the Ghana Interbank Forex market rules, including a combined fine of 1,000 penalty points each.
It means that the banks involved cannot grant forex loans, and those who have granted forex loans like mortgages will have problem even receiving payment for those mortgages because they are not allowed to deal in forex. So it has a very serious implication. That's only on the surface of it. If you go deep down, the customers that they are dealing with, whose businesses are in forex, are also going to suffer because now it means they have to find correspondent banks to be able to handle their activities. So for what has happened, it's got very serious implications, both for the banks involved and their customers and the banking sector as a whole.
Elsewhere, economist Professor Lord Mensah says it is possible for government to get the buy-in of Labour if it provides a more favorable condition to minimize the impact of the debt restructuring on their portfolio. The government has offered new terms in its second round of DDEP program to pension fund managers seeking to restructure local currency bonds held by pension funds as part of efforts to bring the country's debt to sustainable levels. However, Labour unions are adamant, saying they still stand by their earlier decision not to be exempted from pension funds.
So what I was saying is that, the Labour engagement is possible, but then they may have to play with the numbers to know the possible impact of the restructuring on pensions portfolio. And if it turns up that it will affect, day-to-day obligations of the pensions portfolio, then I don't think the government will get the buy-in of the Labour. But then there should be a way out, depending on how they peg the interest rates that is going to be paid as a result of the restructuring.
The Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana, Gabriel Kumi, says there may be some delays in supplying LPG to filling stations despite the call-off of the strike action by tanker drivers, which has come as welcome news. He explains it takes close to 2 days for the product to move from depots to outlets.
This is a big relief because we're really running against time. Our only hope is that whatever pushed them to go on this strike will be sorted, fully sorted, so we don't resort to this again. What this means is that loading will start in earnest tomorrow, but these products which are going to be loaded tomorrow, some of them may not get to their destination tomorrow. They're likely to get to their destination by Saturday. Normally it takes between 12 to 36 hours for the drivers to load the product and get to their destination. What we are hoping is that whatever stocks we have in the system should be able to hold us together till Saturday, when the stocks which are going to be loaded tomorrow gets to their destination.
Secretary General of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area says the continent must use automobile manufacturing to drive industrialization on the continent. Speaking at the Made in Ghana Automotive Summit in Accra, Kelly Many highlighted the relevance of a vibrant automotive industry's value chain in creating employment.
Ghana's automotive development policy has enticed private investment targeted at vehicle assembly segment of the industry. So far, 6 vehicle assembly plants have been established in the country, producing 8 global brands of vehicles for domestic, regional and continental markets. Secretary General of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, Wamkele Mene, is positive the automotive manufacturing industry is critical for the continent's industrialization.
We have to work together to make sure that the rules of trade enable you as the automotive sector to invest more, to create opportunities, to create innovation. But we must first start with the rules of trade. And I'm very happy that we have a very good working relationship with AAAM. We have a shared vision for what has to be done. Let's work together to make sure that we start the building blocks to build our continent.
Minister for Trade and Industry, Kobna Tahir Hammond, assured of government's commitment toward ensuring a continuous supportive environment for the automobile industry to thrive.
In order to attract further investment for the development of an integrated automotive industry and to harness the multiplier effect in developing the industry, we in Ghana have developed a components and parts manufacturing policy to enhance our local content and the localization of spare parts for the aftermarket and ultimately component supplies for vehicle assemblies.
The automotive industry in the country is one of the areas expected to forge new economic backbone for Ghana and the sub-region.
That's it for the very latest in the world of business. For more business news, log on to our website, 3news.com. Sports news, it's coming back shortly.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
It's time to kill it!
Mosquitoes, cockroaches, and flying insects.
Kill it and conquer! Kill it and conquer!
Kill it! Todiekum.
Pepsodent introduces charcoal and lemon essence. The unique combination of natural essences whitens teeth naturally for you and family because every smile matters. New Pepsodent Herbal. Introducing a unique combination of herbal extracts in an antibacterial toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums that protects your family and you. Every smile matters.
Many people think I get whatever I want because I'm a popular actress. But no, that is not true. Me Kasano, Adebia mi yebiano, me shishimpe papano. And when I find it, I stick to it. My shishimenya Bell Pack tissues. Bell Pack ewe tea roll. Bell Pack tea roll. Soft, but not weak. Strong, but not hard. It is smooth. Me yusua, me hot tummy. It's just perfect. Same as the kitchen towel. What about what? What me the papaye? What me soki? Echimu esa pepper. One Bell Pack kitchen towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today. Say your pocket tissue, table napkin, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. It's just perfect.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Gentleman Cosmetic Range.
And Oreku Ampofo is here with the latest in the world of sport. Oreku. What do you have for us?
Well, thank you very much. We'll be starting off from the late Christian Atsu. His legacy definitely remains. And let's get into the details, because on Wednesday, the Becky Foundation Orphanage School, a project started by the late Christian Atsu, was commissioned. The project, which was completed after support from a group of donors, including Chelsea, Newcastle and Everton. Now, speaking at the launch, Member of Parliament for Awutu Senya West constituency, Gisela Tete, called for more support to make Atsu's dream of helping the underprivileged come true.
I feel very elated and very happy that this special project, this school that Christian Atsu willingly supported, has come to fruition. They're not too comfortable with where their resources will go or where to help, but I think this is a typical example of that. What they said they would do, they have done. And so for those who can give, there are some who have much more than they need, you know, because this is not a want, it's a need. This school is a need, it's not a want. And I just pray that God touches their hearts and they're also able to replicate this in other places. It's better to give than to receive. And I think this is a beautiful legacy of giving. Christian was very involved in sports here, especially with this orphanage. And then also with Cheetah FC, the club, because that is also where his beginnings, also when it comes to football. So I'm just happy that it's here. As I was talking to the CEO of Cheetah FC, he needs to partner this school, because Christian Atsu was a small brother. His small brother has done this, you know, and he has a very successful football club. And so I believe that it's going to actually be education and sports put together. And I was telling the proprietor that he needs to get a team. I mean, I'm literally listing what I think he needs to get. But, you know, it's a step by step, and I'm sure you see great things coming out from this school. I will keep an eye on it personally, because I love to help us and support as well. And we have to watch Christian Atsu's legacy and take care of it for him.
Well, the hope is that Christian Atsu's legacy will continue to live on year on after year. Let us do some more stories here. And Black Stars midfielder Majid Ashimeru has shown his support behind the Black Meteors, who need a victory against Guinea on Friday to stay in the Under-23 Africa Cup of Nations currently ongoing in Morocco. The 25-year-old is confident Ibrahim Tanko can lead the team to the 2024 Olympic Games.
I have really a good connection with the coach. That's Coach Tanko, and I believe he will do great, because he has what it takes, and also I know the kids who are representing Ghana, and they know what's at stake, and they know why they're the chosen one. So I just believe they have to go show their best and make sure they will do what they have to do and what they know have to do, and I think it's really a good competition for them, and I believe they will really go far, because we have likes like Fatau, who is also doing really well in Portugal, and he knows what is it to play for Ghana, and making sure that Ghana is also at its best, and so we just have to hope the best for them and pray for them, and making sure we all support them to really take Ghana far, because when they do that, it comes back to Ghana, and everyone will be happy and proud of them.
Now time to take a deep dive into the latest European transfers, with Ghanaian defender Patrick Pozzo, Mason Mount and Pau Torres on the move to new clubs. There was also a failed move for an Ajax midfielder. There's more in this 3 Sports transfer wrap.
Ghanaian left-back Patrick Pozzo has made a permanent switch from Moldovan side Sheriff Tiraspol to Czech Republic outfit Baník Ostrava. The Black Stars player has signed a 2-year contract with his new club. Mason Mount looks set for Old Trafford, as Chelsea have finally reached an agreement with Manchester United for his services. The total package amounts to £60 million. Aston Villa have reached an agreement with Villarreal to sign centre-back Pau Torres in a deal worth £35 million. A 5-year contract has been lined up for the Spaniard, who will soon join Unai Emery's squad. French defender Lucas Hernandez has edged closer towards a move to PSG after the Parisians struck a deal worth around €50 million with German champions Bayern Munich. Borussia Dortmund have pulled out of the race to sign Ajax defender Edson Alvarez. Reports have highlighted the German side's unwillingness to pay the €30 million fee for the Mexican. Arsenal verbally agreed a transfer package worth €47 million with Ajax for Jurriën Timber. The Dutch defender is expected to undergo his medical in the coming days.
Well, there'll be more transfer news to bring you in our subsequent bulletins, but that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Ori Kwampofu. If you want some more sports updates, you can follow us on social media at 3sportsgh. Up next on the bulletin is entertainment.
Again, Emma Bemaya Abrantipa, Senia, Nyama, Ehunia Ahubambonti, Eshenumano Tokoso, Senio Dream Nema Hokonkai, Eye Ahutoswa, or wo Ewojidimu, Utumiti no credi home pampai, a free a tree. Yeda Abrantipa Gentleman Cosmetics Hunya Medi, Yawa activated charcoal shower gel, body lotion, Eduham perfume. Iwia se hiya Abrantipa, bra, beye mubako, ye Abrantipa.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There's harmony in nature everywhere around. Water revitalizes the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water, one for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is said here.
Sorry for the interruption, but due to the acidic content of the atmospheric weather condition in the economy, I have decided metal afemuntin carbohydrate namunshanenso for wache metal 1 Ghana cedi for jollof rice 1 cedi 20 pesos for gobe 80 pesos for kenke tamai and the cow 1 cedi 50 pesos.
You know what, just get me water.
For sachet water 30 pesos. For bottled water 50 pesos. Oh, Moka has a Vodafone cash. I'm the free. I'm free. Metal.
Transfer charges. Bida. Switch to Vodafone Cash today and enjoy zero charges whenever you send money to all networks. Yes, sending money is free on Vodafone Cash. Only e-levy applies. Dial *110# to send money today. Vodafone.
Segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Anita Ekufu, what's happening in entertainment today?
First of all, been a while I heard you call me Mira.
Yeah,
looks like you forgot it. But of course, we have some news on GMB. Yeah, okay. 2023. We're getting very close to finding our final 16. Yes, and so we have some updates on the semi-final auditions.
Take it over.
All right, my name is Anita Ekufu, and 48 contestants have been shortlisted after the semi-final auditions of GMB 2023. They will undergo 2 days of medical screening, after which 16 finalists will be announced to represent their regions.
An African beauty.
The contestants were selected for the semi-finals after the Accra, Tamale, Kumasi and Takoradi auditions.
This is the time we'll be having the big chop. Who makes it and who doesn't make it? It's all about GMB 2023. I'm here with the ladies. And ladies, are you excited? Yes, that is the feeling. But I'm sure the nerves are settling in and all of that. But I'll get talking to some of them to find out if they are really excited about this and what is it looking like. Are they making it or they will not make it? So far, do you see any competition yet?
Yeah, there's competition because all the girls are very good, and you know, you also think you are good,
but it's up to the judges to determine who is very good.
And your region last year, of course, they made you proud. But this year, what are you bringing on board?
Okay, there are a lot of cultures and there are a lot of languages. But you know, the Bruno language has an exceptional accent. That is what we are bringing. We are bringing our story, our origin that we originated from a hole in Sunyani. That is what I'm come to tell Ghanaians.
You said your language has a very unique accent. Give me a little bit of that.
Ben kasa bede. Ti otiye kasa na otise Bruno baniye.
Shekamranim naka be shekamranim.
After going through the process, 48 of them made it through to the next stage. They comprise of 3 contestants from each of the 16 regions.
If I mention your name, Mr. Ford, Isabella Ajay, we are very sorry that for this year, you will not go home just yet.
According to producers of the show, picking more than one contestant for the 2-day medical screening is to make provision for emergencies should any pull up on health grounds. 16 finalists will be announced to represent their regions in the coming weeks.
And away from that, if you love the first edition of the TV3 3FM Shire Mejope exhibition, then you're in for another jolly ride. Join the team this Saturday, 1st July 2023, as we embark on another exciting adventure to Mountain Afaja, the Vili Falls and Bamboo River Resort, all in the Volta region. Experience nature with family and friends on this exciting journey. This package includes transportation, breakfast, snacks. And to a final story this evening, experienced actor Prince David Osei has called out acclaimed rapper Sarkodie for labeling actress Yvonne Nelson a promiscuous woman in his song Try Me. Actor Prince David Osei is unhappy about the rapper using certain lyrics to describe Yvonne Nelson. On reacting to the song, the actor tweeted, "Childish tantrums. Never let the kid in you destroy the king in you. Whoever sleeps with a woman, get her pregnant, and don't own up as a man and goes about labeling her is the dumb one." And in a separate post, he noted that it's about respecting and valuing the women you have been intimate with in the past. That'll be all for the entertainment news segment. Up next is international news. Good evening.
The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that race can no longer be considered a factor in university admissions. The landmark ruling appends decades-old U.S. policies on so-called affirmative action, also known as positive discrimination. It is one of the most contentious issues in U.S. education. Affirmative action first made its way into policy in the 1960s and has been defended as a measure to increase diversity. U.S. President Joe Biden is expected to speak about the seismic ruling on Thursday. The case concerned admissions at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. The court's conservative majority ruled 6-3 against UNC and 6-2 against Harvard. 9 U.S. states already have bans on race-based college admissions in place: Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, Michigan, Nebraska, and Washington.
Before we go, remember to brush your teeth before you go to bed this evening and tomorrow morning when you wake up from bed with either Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Pepsodent Charcoal, Pepsodent Herbal, or Pepsodent Triple Protection. Because with Pepsodent, Osha, help me. Every
smell matters. Right. And that's it for News 360. For more news updates, do log on to our website, 3news.com. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Pakusia Sari.